855-1000. That's 855-1000. Eddie's Pharmacy, 114 at Davy Crockett Shopping Center in Trenton.
First in news, first in sports, the NFL and Monday Night Football, only on News Talk 101.5 FM.
5:39 left in the second quarter. It's Adamsville 10 and Peabody 6. Dan Reeves, Seabass, Coach Joe Holloway up top, Richard the narrator Barber on the sideline. Here's Lennon's kick, another ground ball, taken at the 26 to the 30, and it's a fumble. Peabody, I believe, able to get back on top of it. Back at the 25-yard line, so a break for the Tide and a heads-up play. Getting on that fumble was Xavier Ball of Buford. That could have been disastrous.
Yeah, that time Brandon Johnson trying to make something happen. Somebody gets a piece of the ball, knocks it out, and you're right. Xavier Ball, the 5'7", 165-pound senior, with a huge recovery. That could have been disaster.
You know, that second time the kickoff has bounced like that. I don't think it's an accident.
First and 10, Peabody from their own 25 on the ground and nothing there. Hammered at the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard, and that's all for the Tide.
Well, and these were some of the things that were working in the first quarter, and then Adamsville starting to tighten up defensively. One of the biggest reasons is number 77, Blake Sweat, 6'5", 270. Boy, he's really been hard to move off that line of scrimmage, and those holes that were there earlier, simply not there.
Malone out of the shotgun for the Tide. It's second down at 9. Peabody at their own 26. And Ricky Woods burns a timeout. We'll take it with him. 5:21 left before halftime. It's Adamsville 10 and Peabody 6 on Jackson's News Talk 101.5 and .5digital.com.
Amy Greer is your State Farm insurance agent right here in Trenton. Amy's a huge supporter of Peabody football, and she says roll Tide. And with Amy Greer at State Farm Insurance, our mission is to help people manage the risk of everyday life, recovery from the unexpected, and realize their dreams. From insurance to financials, claims, and customer care, visit amygreer.com. Amy Greer, your State Farm insurance agent. 308 South College Street, right here in Trenton. Call Amy at 855-0433. That's 855-0433 for Amy Greer with State Farm Insurance.
Covering the people and places you know best from the people you trust most. .5digital.com.
Here's a quick pass out of the flat for Peabody. Malone sends it out completed to 30, to the 35, to the 40, and out to the 44-yard line for a first down for the Tide. Just exploding after making the catch. Was that Mr. Johnson?
No, that was Jared Penn.
Jared Penn on the reception at Penn, 5'10", 170 pounds, and that's a food right first down for the Tide. New line of scrimmage, zone 44. Here's Malone. He's going to keep this one, 45. Malone running laterally along the 50, breaking a tackle outside the numbers into Adamsville territory at the 45 to the 40, and Malone steps out of bounds at the 41-yard line, and after the whistles are blown, Malone is hip-tossed to the ground. I mean, driven into the ground, and here comes all the laundry that these officials have amongst them, and this could have someone kicked out of the game as Malone clearly, after the whistles had blown, was just pile drive, Butte.
Yeah, that was Jacob Dingler, and it just didn't need to happen. I mean, he knew the play was already over. The play had been whistled, and he just grabs him, and he's just not thinking, and his players are hyping him up about it, but it's a terrible play. I mean,
out on the sideline, here's Richard, the narrator Barber.
Fellas, Adamsville making some mistakes here, and you can't afford to do that when you snatch momentum, you just come off a scoring drive, and then you do something really stupid that costs your team 15 yards.
And that's another food right first down for the Tide. New line of scrimmage, the Adamsville 26. On the ground, working left side to the 24-yard line. It's a gain of 2 yards on first down for the Tide. On the carry that time for Trenton was Landon Johnson. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Well, I want to go back to that design quarterback draw for Kewan Malone on that play, which was fantastic. But I wish you could have seen the block by Colin White, the sophomore offensive line, who took an Adamsville linebacker and drove him 5 yards back.
Here's Malone out of the gun. Play action, rolling left. Looking downfield, got a man wide open. Fires it low and incomplete at the 12-yard line. I mean, he came wide open. Throwing into that wind, left it short for Octavius Lee. It'll go incomplete. Bring up 3rd down today.
Well, and you watch on the replay, and you're right, it is against the wind, but he's going to kick himself right here because he had Octavius Lee wide open for at bare minimum 1st and goal.
3rd and 8 for Peabody. Trailing 10-6. 4:17 left before halftime from the Adamsville 24. 3 wide receivers. Johnson alone setback. Here's Malone. Play action. Back to throw. Here comes the pressure. Malone rolling right. Malone looking. Still looking. Back at the 35. Malone escapes 1, but not 2. And sacked back at the 35-yard line. Oh, boy. That's going to be a loss of about 7 yards for Peabody.
Well, and that was Luke Kaiser, number 5, 6'4", 255-pound defensive lineman who kept the constant pressure. I mean, you can see the elusiveness of Malone, but you got to chalk that up to great coverage downfield. Just know where to go with the football.
Victory, 93.7 update from Milan. CPA early in the 2nd quarter leading the Bulldogs 24-0. View. Wow, that game can be heard at 93.7. The victory over in Milan.
Yeah, man, you're hoping for a different result, but the CPA team is just loaded.
Boy, they are loaded. An all-star team. They decided to join Adamsville. Well, maybe Adamsville. They decided to join Alcoa and Maryville and putting those all-star teams together. We got a whistle on Peabody, some more laundry that will push them back to the 40.
Well, I mean, they were getting ready to punt with 9 players on the field. Then they add 1 more, and the other one still needs to come on. You can't lose focus here.
So Peabody, a promising drive that will end in a punt. Be the first time tonight Peabody punts. Low line driver is going to hit it to 25 and take a Peabody roll inside the 15, inside the 10, and be touched down at the Adamsville 7-yard line. So a nice job by Drew Sanders, who's been kicking great tonight. 2 field goals, and now a punt that'll roll down at the Cardinals 7. With 3:14 left in the first half, you
know, you come into this game, if I tell you you've got 10 points with 3 minutes left to go in the first half, you probably think you're down a couple of touchdowns, not winning the game.
In this game, Coach, you surprised?
Yes, because I thought there'd be more touchdowns on the board, and secondly, in that last series, that last minute of that last series for Peabody, the punt bouncing as deep as it did is the only good thing that happened.
1st and 10 for the Cardinals from their own 7. They pitch it back, and now they're going to throw it deep down the center of the field. Got a man out there, Burcham, but it's over his head and incomplete. Oh, boy. I mean, they had Burcham behind that secondary, and if that one would have been on target, that would have been a long touchdown pass for Adamsville, but what an arm. Throwing it out of the end zone, it was Austin Cotner.
What I don't understand is you tell that defensive back, if he goes to the concession stand, you go buy him a Coke. Don't play the run. Play Burcham.
You're right, and if there's a little more air under that football, it's going to be 17-6. But it's tough, Gage. Everybody thinks it's so tough to throw against the wind. It's hard to throw with the wind, too.
It'll sail on you.
Seth Paul, the quarterback, out of the gun from his own 7-yard line with 3:07 left here in the 2nd quarter. 10-6 Adamsville. Here's Irons on the ground. Irons going to be swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage at the 4-yard line. He'll lose 3 yards. It'll bring up 3rd down in Longview, and still plenty of time for Peabody if they can stop Adamsville. Force a punt here. Should set him up in nice field position.
There's your man again, View.
Yeah, Johnson, and also Willis Johnson, the senior defensive end. Watch this. He sniffs this out the entire way. Him, along with Grant McEwen, playing big right there off the left edge for Peabody.
2:35 remaining in the 2nd quarter. It's 10-6. Adamsville leads by 4. 3rd down and 13. Adamsville for their own 4. They'll throw out of the end zone. Sideline pattern. It's high and incomplete, and Peabody just got lucky there.
Yes, they did. I know what you're talking about. And
Devon Goodwin came in and hammered the wide receiver after the ball had cleared his head. If this was NFL, that would have been a defenseless receiver hit. No flag, however.
And if that zebra decides to throw that flag, you can't have an issue with it. I mean, that ball is 10 yards over his head and already out of bounds, and he throws the shot.
And especially after you've already thrown the flag on Malone's tackle, even though it was the proper call.
Burcham got a punt from deep out of his own end zone. Just gets it out of there high. Spiraling punt, going to hit it to 40. Take a Adamsville roll and roll inside of Peabody territory. All the way down to the Peabody 42-yard line. So the Tide making a mistake there, letting that punt get over their head. That's going to end up being a punt.
That's which one's going to have the fit first.
It's going to be a punt at 45 yards as Peabody lets that thing roll. They got a 20-yard roll.
Well, I'll go with the first thing that was obvious. Look at that flag. It tells you all you need to know. You know they can punt. And Trenton was the return man was at the 30-yard line. I mean, that ball was going to go over his head almost no matter what happens.
You get at least 10 yards deeper. And if nothing else, get back deeper and fair catch the ball.
Boy, my niece is taking care of me, Brianna and Hannibal. First and 10 Peabody with 2:06 left before halftime from their own 42. On the ground, running left side with room to the 45, to midfield, into Cardinal territory. And a first down for the Tide. That's a food right first down on the carry. Kevon Goodwin, and he'll move the chains. Peabody, problem is, they burned some timeouts already this half.
Yeah, and that was a great job by Brandon Johnson to block on the edge.
First and 10. Here is Malone in trouble, looking, pump faking, sacked back at the 45-yard line. Oh, boy, that's a big play there for the Cardinal defense, Bill.
Well, it really is, but it doesn't make a lot of sense for Trenton right there in that sense. You're faking a throw downfield, but not really looking downfield, and there's nobody open, so nobody's biting.
Chris Irons didn't get faked out then either. He did a good job of staying with it.
Down to a minute 26 left before halftime. Second and 17 after that loss of yardage. Back at their own 45. Malone going to keep it up the middle and be thrown down. This will go as another sack. He was going to run that quarterback sneak after a quarterback draw, and never made it back to the line of scrimmage. And that clock moving with 1:02 remaining, and now Adamsville may burn a timeout.
Well, and I'll tell you what, it's too bad because out on the left flat, he had three receivers. The slot receiver wide open, unchecked.
The slot was open, but I see what Adamsville's adjustment. They saw what I saw about the tight end being open. They're not letting him off the line of scrimmage now.
Third and 18. Malone will send it out into flat complete. Outside the numbers, midfield to the 45 and shoved out of bounds at the Adamsville 41-yard line. It was third and 18, and Penn was able to pick up 15 or 16 yards, and now Peabody's in a position where they could go for it here.
And I think with 35 seconds, I think that's exactly what you do. We may have a player down. Can't see from the sidelines.
Now Richard and narrator Barber's down there sniffing things out. We'll go down to him in just a moment, but Coach, with 35 seconds left and Peabody facing a 4th down and 3 from the Adamsville 41, you go for it here.
Yeah, you got to get the first down here. You got to go for it, and you've got a chance if you will run it right. You can get as many as 5 plays out of this, but you got to be prepared. You got to call 2 plays in the huddle too.
Let's go down on the sideline. Here's Richard, the narrator Barber.
Fellas, that's Kevon Goodwin on the ground, number 5. You can tell he got hit. He got racked up pretty good right there on the sidelines. Training staff working on him right now, looking at a leg. I won't speculate any further.
Well, we got a victory, 93.7 update from Milan, and it's bad news for Bulldog fans. 31-0, CPA leading Milan with still plenty of time left before halftime. Christ Presbyterian Academy just burying the Bulldogs. Other games, and we think the victory, 93.7. And you can listen to that game right there, 93.7, Milan versus CPA. 22-6 makes me want to puke. Triumphants over Pearl Cone in the second quarter.
Don't puke, Danny. Don't puke.
You know what I mean, though, fellas?
Sure I do. We wanted to win that game bad.
Sure did. So Peabody going for it on 4th down and 3 from the Cardinal 41. It's 10-6 Adamsville. 35 seconds left before halftime. Here's Malone, play action, under pressure, looking downfield, fires downfield, and broken up at the 25-yard line by Ross Burcham. That one intended for Octavius Lee. And so the Cardinals now will have the football at their own 41 with 29 seconds left before halftime.
And Ross Burcham reminds me a thinner version of the former MUS linebacker John Stokes. I mean, look at this. That wide receiver is open, but look at the length and those strides, and he breaks so great on that ball and makes a fantastic play because for just a minute that play was open.
Yeah, Coach, that's Ross Burcham is the real deal Holyfield, isn't he, Coach?
Oh, he is. He gets there. He's got good football sense. We'll tell you what, Adamsville's got time to run about 4 plays right here.
So here is Adamsville out of the shotgun. Seth Paul. Paul going to hand it off. Sweep left side to the 45, to the 50 into Trenton territory. Diving out of bounds near the Peabody 46-yard line. That's going to be a first down for the Cardinals. And stop the clock with 19 ticks left before halftime. Adamsville leading Peabody 10-6. It was all Peabody in the first quarter with 2 Drew Sanders field goals, but Adamsville's on the second quarter.
Yes, they have, and they did not. Trenton did not need to give up that type of yardage because with 19 seconds at the 46-yard line, you got to figure you got to get about another 17, 18 yards with a win like this. Either one of these kickers can be good from 45.
And Coach, I can't tell on that scoreboard if Adamsville has any timeouts. Can you?
No, I can't, but I think they've used all 3. Oh, Adamsville has. Yeah, they've got a timeout left. Now there's an adjustment being made to the scoreboard.
10-6, advantage Adamsville with 23 seconds left before halftime. Yeah, they put a couple of seconds back on. Actually, from 19, they put 23 seconds on the board.
Like I said, you can get 3, and you still maybe can get 4 if you work the sidelines and use what timeout you've got left.
So the Cardinals, 1st and 10 from the Peabody 46-yard line. Paul out of the gun. He's going to hand it off right side with room to the 40, outside of numbers 35 to the 30, to the 25, to the 20. Coming back inside, 10-5, touchdown. Ryan Nixon goes 46 yards. He hits pay dirt with only 12 seconds left before halftime. And the Cardinals have just exploded here in the second quarter.
Boy, and both of those plays on the ground. That's the real backbreaker here. It's not that it's just a touchdown, but they didn't even have to go to the air to get that done. And look at the convoy here. Just basically untouched.
A lot of blocking downfield for Adamsville. Now the PAT. That one's up, and that PAT kick is good with 12 seconds left before halftime. Our new score, Adamsville 17 and Peabody 6 on Jackson's News Talk, 101.5 and .5digital.com.
Ed Norman with LA Realty is your hometown real estate specialist right here in Trenton. With Ed Norman, you're dealing with a high-caliber professional with extensive experience and knowledge about our local real estate markets. Whether you're looking for residential, commercial, investment, or farm and land, our team is here to guide you. Ed Norman with LA Realty. Call Ed at 571-7092. That's 571-7092. View our listings online at LARealtyLLC.com. Ed Norman with LA Realty in Trenton.
Hey, we've even got the Super Bowl. News Talk 101.5 FM.
Peabody led it 6-0 after the first quarter, but the second quarter has been owned by Adamsville with 17 unanswered points, Coach.
Well, there's 2 things you got to do at this time of year, and that's play defense, and you got to be able to run the football. And right now, Adamsville is able to run the football.
Cardinals kick it off to Peabody with 12 seconds left before halftime. Another ground ball that's going to be scooped up into 33, to the 35, to the 40, out to the 42-yard line. On the return is Brandon Johnson. 6 seconds left before halftime, and Peabody with no timeouts left of football at Peabody will get the ball to start their second half. You try anything here?
Yeah. There's 6 seconds left. The only thing that's going to beat you is about a 70-yard return here if you can get the ball down the field on an INT. I give it a shot. What maybe get a pass interference and give you a chance for the end zone.
Either that or you could maybe run a quarterback draw here with them believing pass.
So Malone out of the shotgun from Peabody. From the own 41, he'll hand it off. Johnson again, and Johnson has a yard, and that's it. That'll do it for the first half. 17 unanswered points by Adamsville here in the second quarter, and the Cardinals will take a 17-6 lead into the locker room with them. So, boy, after leading 6-0, Peabody finds himself down by 11 at halftime. This game being brought to you by these great sponsors, including Raspberry Tire and Service Center. All your tires and automotive needs can be taken care of 24 hours, 7 days a week. They've been serving our area for 32 years. Towing, light, medium, and heavy-duty recovery services. One call and you're hooked. Call Kyle Raspberry for all your towing needs at 855-0099 during the daytime, and at night, 855-9438. Also brought to you by Hometown of Self-Storage, our title sponsor tonight, with 8 locations in West Tennessee: Milan, Medina, Greenfield, Jackson, Humboldt, and 2 locations here in Trenton at Hometown Self-Storage on Halliburton and on the Bypass, and climate control coming next month at the Bypass location here in Trenton. Hometown Self-Storage. Call 571-1517 for all your storage needs. By LA Realty and Ed Norman at LA Realty. Ed knows real estate here in the Trenton area, whether it be commercial or residential. Ed Norman at LA Realty. Call Ed at 855-9899. By Eddie's Pharmacy, your local hometown pharmacy, offering free delivery. Eddie Sturgeon, along with Clint Sturgeon, at Eddie's Pharmacy in Trenton. Call 855-1000 for free delivery at Eddie's Pharmacy. By Country Roads Music, a full-service music store. Vanessa Griggs and George Coleman, open from 10 to 5 Tuesday through Friday, and Country Roads Music is open from 10 to 2 on Saturdays at the Davy Crockett Shopping Center right here in Trenton, Tennessee.